So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys, based on the time zones you all are coming from. So guys, before we start with the session here, can we all please give me a quick information if you all can see my screen and hear me loud and clear as well? Please give me a quick confirmation, everyone. And you can use the questions tab here, guys, to give me a quick information if I'm audible to everyone. And you can all can see the screen as well. Perfect. Thank you for confirmation, everyone. All right. So let me start by introducing myself, guys. So my name is Neeraj Kheria, and I've been working in this IT industry for almost 10 years now. So I started my career working as a UI designer, designing the front end and back end of applications, which are mostly enterprise based. And I've been mostly working in verticals like banking, insurance, retail, pharmaceutical, location-based services, and satellite imagery across different markets, but mainly in India, US, Canada, Singapore, and other Southeast Asian markets so far, right? And in terms of training front, I've been working actively as a corporate trainer, training the workforce of different companies, including EY, Capgemini, Accenture, Adobe, Google, Grab. So again, I've been training the workforce of these companies in staying updated on the current trends and technologies and how they can use those current trends, how they can use those updated technologies in delivering a better solution to the client, right? Because in this highly competitive world, we have to stay ahead. We have to stay ahead in terms of competition, right? Then only we can thrive. And again, that's what I have been helping the companies in achieving that. All right. All right, so and there's a simple and single rule for this entire session here, guys. In case you have any questions, you have any queries, please feel free to ask as many questions as possible as you want using the same questions tab here, right? So instead of raising hand, just please feel free to ask as many questions as you want in the same questions tab directly, so that I can make sure that each and every of your queries are answered spontaneously one by one, right? And even so, if since we have a good number of participants joining in, so even though some of your queries may be left unanswered, please don't feel shy to ask the same question again and again, right? So that's the main goal of this entire session, is to make this entire session as interactive as possible, right? And again, as a part of today's session, we'll be sticking with 1 hour as a part of entire demo here that we have, correct? So we'll be if so so 1 hour we are reserving for the entire demo here, whereas the last 15 to 20 minutes we'll be spending on understanding the entire curriculum as a full-fledged course offered by Edureka, and how we can get and what the full-fledged course itself, its timeline, its entire schedule, and the pricing, along with the offers that you can get out of the entire course, right? As a small token of appreciation for attending the session. All right. So that will be our entire delivery module here. All right. All right. So okay. So Ajit asked, so are there any issues with the audio? So I hope everyone can see me, can hear me loud and clear, everyone. So am I audible to you, Ajit? Please give me a quick confirmation. Perfect. Thank you for confirming, Wasim. Everyone. Wonderful. So now let's get started. So today we have gathered here to discuss mainly on the Python, for how we can use and how Python is used for data analysis, right? So this will be our agenda for today's session. We'll be focusing on Python applications, what exactly is data lifecycle, how Python is used for data analysis, what exactly is pandas, what is NumPy and CPY. Sorry, guys. And what are different pandas operations, Python, how we can use Python for statistics, and how we can use and how Python is integrated with Hadoop, right? So that will be our agenda for today's session, and as we have discussed, we'll be reserving the last 15 to 20 minutes for the discussion on the entire module that we have as a full-fledged course offered by Edureka. and how we can sign up the entire match schedule along with the discounts that we can get as a small token of appreciation for joining this nice session. All right, so first of all, let's understand on Python application. So Python is basically used as a web scraping, for web development, testing, and for data analysis. When we say web scraping, that simply means whenever we are scraping the internet for information, whenever we are looking for, suppose, let's say now, as a simple example for web scraping, let's suppose we are on any particular page, right? For example, we are on a Wikipedia page. Now we want to collect and download the list of all the links present on that page. Then we can do that using Python as a part of web scraping, right? Python is also used for web development. That means developing applications. It is also used for testing any application, for building the test scripts, for testing any particular code or testing any particular application. We also run test scripts in Python itself, right? And then we also use Python as a main driving force for data analysis, right? So all those big data, data science, machine learning, these are all again done using Python itself. All right. Now, if we have to understand the data life cycle, then again, first of all, we have the data, right? Then again, different blocks of data, they are combined together as a part of data warehousing, because we are in data warehousing, we are simply combining different data packets into one, right? And then we go for data analysis. Now, data analysis can be done only through data warehousing. And then once we analyze the data, then we visualize it, again, using third-party applications or any particular GUI element, GUI dashboard. We can do that. Okay, Abhinash, okay, Ambrish asked for web development, which one is better, Django or Flask? It depends upon the requirement, Ambrish, because again, both of them are different, right? So it depends upon what kind of application we are building, and then we can choose accordingly. All right. And as we know, Django is a full-fledged framework itself, where Flask is not that we can say of that scale as compared to Django. But again, it all depends upon our requirement itself. Is that clear, Abhiraj? Ambrish, please give me a quick information. Perfect. Thank you for confirmation, Ambrish. Next is, let's understand what exactly data analysis is. So now, as we know, different sources, almost every kind of device, whether it is a POS, that means the machine through which we swipe our credit card, it is an ATM, it is a simple vending machine, it's a simple invoice generator. It's simply the cash counter in departmental stores, right? Either it is our phones, our tablets, our smart televisions, our smart homes, our smart speakers. So every possible device that we can think of is now generating data, right? And again, and that's why there's a humongous amount of data, not huge, but humongous amount of data coming in on a daily basis, on every second as we speak, right? So again, obviously we have so much amount of data, but again, this data is not being used properly, right? And for using this data properly, for making sense out of the entire data, for getting the useful information out of the data, sorry guys, for getting the useful information out of the data, we have to perform data analysis on top of it, right? To understand, for example, let's say there's a departmental store. Now that store itself wants to understand which are the best selling products for them, correct? And how people are, and again, suppose if people are purchasing one item, then what are the most popular other items that they purchase along with that item, right? So again, all of these things have to be analyzed, right? And we all have the data with us, but again, that data is not useful until and unless we perform analysis on top of that, and we extract the meaningful information out of it, right? And that's why we need to perform data analysis. And Python, as you know, is a much popular tool useful for performing data analysis. All right. Okay, Satisha, so can only Python skill get job? Satish, obviously Python is the first because it is the first and most important step in getting a good job for us, right? So when we are good in Python, again, multiple doors open for us. We can go for data science, we can go for web development, we can go for providing for data analysis. It depends upon our interest, right? But again, if we have a good expertise on Python, again, it simply opens the door for multiple opportunities, right? And especially for data science, when we are, and as we know, how big the data science industry has become, right? So every company nowadays, they are looking for experts who are expert in data science, in big data, in data mining, right? And all of these are done using Python. So clear on this part, Satish, please give me a quick information. Please give me a quick confirmation, Satish. Okay, Sagar, so can we perform data analysis with C++? C++ is not used, not is neither used nor popular for data analysis, Sagar, because again of multiple limitations, and that's why we use Python as we can say is the global standard for data analysis. All right. No problem, Satish. So Satish, okay, that might be a network issue at your end, Satish. So if you can try restarting or rejoining, and in the meanwhile, so what we had discussed. So basically, we always Python is the first step. Python is the first step in getting the job or getting entry into data science, right? Because multiple companies, they are no, almost every company of every industry vertical, they require data science experts, right? And for becoming expert in data science, we have to be well versed with Python, correct? And once we are well versed with Python, then we can learn how to use Python for different purposes, right? And if we do that, again, we have a really good career ahead of us if we are able to encash the entire Python for us. All right. Okay, so much. Do we get a recording for this one? The support team will be getting back to you somewhere with the confirmation. In case you be, and again, I'll be showing the multiple documents towards the end as well, which will be getting after the session. Is that clear, Soumya? Perfect. Okay. Jinesh asks, is it necessary to get a degree for data science for shifting of job? I am a pharma graduate and I am into IT firm for supporting role now. Dinesh, as we know, certification is the entry point. Certification offers us the entry point, right? And certification simply validates what we have learned in the while we had enrolled in the training, right? So many companies they require certification. Okay, that is used to validate. Okay, we have done the certification from this and this sources, right? And it will simply make us confident as well on the tools, on the complete concept that we have learned, so that we can proudly showcase our certification as well to the prospective company itself. All right. Perfect. All right, guys. So we'll be sticking ahead with the entire setup here. So let's first of all understand what exactly data analysis is. All right, and then so we'll be maintaining a simple scenario here, 15 minutes for the entire module here. Again, we'll be opening up for 5 minutes of question, again 15 minutes of training, and so on, right? So that we can maintain a balance between the delivery and the questions that we are taking up. All right. All right, so now let's discuss on the Python packages for data analysis. We have pandas, we have matplot, then we have numpy. So these are three main and highly used Python packages that we can get started with, right? First of all, let's discuss on numpy. So numpy is the core library for computing which is mainly used for computation in Python, right? As it simply supports the multi-dimensional array object. For example, in an array, we can store a single information, correct? Suppose if we are defining array here, and then if we have to store that in single block, then we can simply specify 0, 1, 2, 3, and then we can close the brackets, right? But if we want to store array in multiple dimensions, right? As you can see here, currently we have multiple dimension. We have an entire matrix here, correct? So here what we can see here, we have multiple locations as well. For example, A0, 0, 0, 0 means 0 in the column and 0 in the row itself, right? Then A0 means 0, 1 means 0 is the row and 1 is the column, because again in array the basic block starts from 0 position, right? So here the row is 0 and the block is now 1. And same way A02 will point to 3, being A0 being the row and 3 and 2 being the column here. Same way we have 1 0, that means now we are shifting to the first row and 0 column. All right, and that's how we can create a matrix. That's how we can print the entire matrix here as well if we are looking to do that, right? Now, first of all, let's understand what exactly NumPy is and how we can use it. All right, just a moment. Charm. All right, and please do reserve the questions, guys, because first of all, let's discuss on the
for which we
module
have
for what we have discussed. Just a moment. All right, so now for getting started on this part, what we can do is we can simply go ahead and use one ID called PyCharm, right? Let me showcase you PyCharm, just a moment. Now, here what we can do is here we can search for one particular, now there are multiple IDs that we can use for getting started on Python, right? So you can search for multiple IDs available for Python. We have PyCharm, we have Wing, we have Atom, Eclipse, we have Thorny, we have, again, we have multiple, we have Thorny, we have Python ideally, we have Eclipse. So we have multiple IDs available, right? And even if we are a beginner or we are experienced, we can use PyCharm, being the most popular Python ID available, right? So here we have the link through which we can get started on downloading Python, or we can say PyCharm, right? Let me share this link with everyone. Here you go. So you can all download PyCharm by using this link, which I have shared currently. So here we can simply click on download, and this will download PyCharm for us, right? And when we are using PyCharm, we'll be getting two particular versions. One is professional and the other one is community. And if you want to get started for free for developing projects code, like mainly on Python itself, then we can use the community version. And that is free of cost. All right. So we can use this version, which is currently free of cost, to get started. Now, once we have installed it, okay, do we all have the link for download, guys? Please give me a quick information, everyone. Do we all have the link for the download, which I have shared, guys? Please give me a quick information, everyone. Perfect. Thank you for confirming, Jyoti, Sujata, Ambrish, Sagar, Karthike, Richardson, Bhagya, Preetham. Wonderful. So now once we have installed this PyCharm, then what we can do is we can simply open it up. We can simply open up the PyCharm here, and this will be the setup that we will be looking at. This will be the setup we will be looking at. Okay, Hansa says not got it. No problem, Hansa. Let me simply share the same link again in case you have not got that. So here we can, let us copy it. Here you go, Hansa. So do you have the link now? Please give me a quick information. Perfect. Now, once we have downloaded PyCharm here, this will be the screen that we will be looking at. So now in here, we can simply go ahead and click on a new scratch file, a new file. Then we can specify the file name. We can choose a file name as Python because that's what we want to get started with, right? And then we can simply keep on typing command here. We can use on typing command here. For example, let's suppose we want to get started, right? Let's suppose we want to specify A is equal to 21, B is equal, suppose B is equal to 44. We want to assign C as well. C should be A plus B, and we want to print C, right? So again, if you wanted to write a simple command here, then again we can simply run. Okay, I have a query from someone. All right. So now as you can see here, if you want to run the command here, we simply have to right click on the command on the code editor here, and we simply click on run, and this will be the file name, correct? And once it has been executed, this will return the entire result. Whatever command is present in the text editor will be executed. All right. All right. Now let's start. As we're discussing on NumPy as the library, right? As we discussed here, NumPy is one of the main packages offered for data analysis, right? So here we have pandas, we have matplotlib, and then we have NumPy, right? So if we want to get started with NumPy, then what we have to do is, first of all, we have to use NumPy. We have to install NumPy here, right? And for installing NumPy here, okay, okay, Nitin's asked, so how can it be connected with database? We'll be coming to that part later on, Nitin. First of all, let's see and understand how this actually works step by step. All right. All right, so everyone. So first of all, we have to download and install NumPy, right? And for installing NumPy, we can go to File. Then under File, we have Settings. Under Settings, we have now here we have to choose the project. Suppose the project name is Edureka, for which we are working. Then we have to click on Project Interpreter, right? And in Project Interpreter, what we have to do is we simply have to click on this icon which says plus, right? We have install. Now, once we are in this install screen here, we can search for one extension called NumPy. We can search for it, and this will simply say NumPy. And again, once we have chosen NumPy here, we have to click on install package, right? We won't be installing it as we have the package already installed, and that's how we can get started with installing NumPy, right? And it may take up from a minute to 5 minutes or 10 minutes, depending upon the system on which we are installing NumPy package here. Okay, Soumya, so please explain how to install PyCharm or NumPy, Soumya. Please give me a quick information. Yes, Sagar, we can also do it on Visual Studio as well. We can do that. Soumya, please give me a quick information if you're asking for the installation setups for NumPy or for PyCharm so that I can answer correctly. Okay, I guess Soumya has left. Okay, no problem. Okay, has rejoined. NumPy for PyCharm, no problem, Soumya. So in here, what we had, okay, let's do that again. First of all, we have to click on File. Then under File, we have Settings, right? And under Settings, we have to choose the project, right? So project name would be whatever we have already defined. So currently, we have defined project as Edureka, right? Now under project, we have something as project interpreter. All right. Once we are into project interpreter here, this will display the list of all the interpreters that we have currently downloaded. right? And if you want to start or if you want to add a new interpreter here, we have to click on this icon which says plus, right? So here we have to click on it. And in here, these are different components that we can install, which are already available as a part of plugin, right? And if you want to search, if you're looking for any particular plugin here, we can search for it. And then from the list itself, we suppose what we have to receive is we have received NumPy, right? And then we have to simply click on install, and this will install the package, right? We won't be installing because we have NumPy already installed, so we don't want multiple copies for it. So is it clear now, Soumya? Please give me a quick information on how to install NumPy. Perfect. Thank you for the confirmation. Ajit, we have to search. We have to search. Okay, I'm not getting option for the NumPy, right? So if we go to file, we go to settings here, we go to the plus icon. Now remember, we have to choose project interpreter. We have to choose project interpreter under the same tab here, and then we can click on plus, right? And in the search window, we can search for NumPy, and this will showcase the NumPy module for us. Is it clear, Ajit? Perfect. Thank you for the confirmation. Okay, I have a query, which one is the best ID for Python? We have multiple IDs. We can use Visual Code. We can use PyCharm as well, because PyCharm is basically designed only for Python. Although we can write code for any kind of document, but PyCharm has been built specifically for Python itself, right? That's why it is a good tool to use, especially for Python development. Yes, Prashant, we can use online compilers as well, but again, for creating project, we won't be using online compilers, although we can. But again, for whenever we are creating a big project, a big and professional project, then we don't use online code editors. All right. Perfect. So now once we have the NumPy install, we can go back and start. And again, once we have NumPy installed here in the project interpreter, we can see this NumPy and current version if it is successfully installed. And whenever we are trying to install, it will take a couple of time. It will take a couple of minutes to be installed properly. Just a moment, guys. Okay, Richard, so in case you're having some, okay, we can make sure, Richard, that we have installed the correct version for PyCharm, right? And now, current, as you can see, current the version for the Python that we have detected is 3.7, correct? And when we are going for the project interpreter here, we can simply choose the NumPy version for 1.17, right? And it will take some time. So if we search, if you simply click on add here and search for numpy, it will take some time to install, to get it installed here, right? But once we click on install package, this will simply this will simply get started. And in case you are having some difficulties, please make sure to reach out to the support team, and they'll be more than happy to help you out with this part. All right. And same applies for everyone, guys. Okay, Dharmo Dhavan. It is installed in the folder itself, Dharmo Dhavan, and we can find the location as well. All right. Is it clear, Dharmo Dhavan? Dharan, please give me a quick information. All right, so now let's proceed further, guys. So here what we have is once we install NumPy, let's see what exactly NumPy does, right? And okay, Subramaniam, it is installed in the program files, not in the path, but in the program files. I'll just share the link, the complete path as well towards the end. All right, perfect. Thank you for confirmation. So here, let's see how we can start ahead with when we have installed NumPy, right? So now once we have installed NumPy, we also have to initiate it. We will simply have to initiate NumPy as well, right? Now let's see how we can do that. Just a moment. Now, for example, suppose we have now when we install NumPy here, we can start with import command, right? So here what we are doing is we are simply importing numpy. What we are simply importing numpy command, numpy as np. This can be any particular variable that we want to use here, right? And then what we can do is we can simply mention something as, suppose x is equal to numpy, that means and now we have assigned numpy to np, right? So here we can choose np, and we want to convert this np into an array. We want to store values in that array here. So basically what we can do is we can simply mention the array value as 1, 2, and 3, right? And if we want to print this, we can simply use the print command, and then we can simply choose x to be printed, correct? So what this will do is this will simply print the objects stored in this array as x, right? Okay, guys, can you all please see my screen now? Please give me a quick information as we have refreshed the screen here. Nitin, Sachin, Ajit, Kartike, Bhagya. Perfect. So currently what we have done is we have simply used this command for importing numpy, right? So we have assigned numpy to a variable called np to what we have used here, correct? Now we can assign any particular text here as x, and then we are storing what? We are using the numpy np that we have already declared, we have imported, and then we are simply saving an array as a part of x, right? So here we can store any variable as 1, 2, 3 as a part of an array, right? And if we want to execute this, let's suppose once we execute this, this will simply display the list of all the arrays that we have used here. Okay, let's compile this just a moment. All right, so as you can see now, currently we have used import numpy as np. And here we have, once we have executed the array here, we can see the array being stored here as 1, 2, 3, whatever we have stored here. Correct? Now, this is good for a single row array here, correct? But if we have multiple arrays, for example, if we have multiple arrays here, then what we can do is we can simply mention this as a matrix as well, as a matrix, right? So suppose if now that's what we have seen here as an example for numpy. We have a matrix, we have a rows and columns, right? So for saving this as rows and column, what we can do, we can simply go back and in here we can define the rows, right? For example, let's do one thing. Let's add a parenthesis here. We have 1, 2, 3, right? And then we can create another one. Suppose we have 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9. All right. So what we have is now we have two sets of arrays here. We have 1, 2, 3, and then we have 7, 8, 9, right? And now if we try to print X here, okay, I think we have missed one parenthesis. Let us check. Okay, we forgot to close this one. Let's close this. Then only this will be treated like a rows and columns. So now let's refresh. Now as you can see here, now we are seeing two metrics here, guys. Correct? So here we are seeing 1, 2, 3 in the first row, and then we are seeing 7, 8, 9. Correct? So are we all clear on the main concept for NumPy and how we can use it, how we can install the packages, and how we can get started on top of it? Please give me a quick information, everyone. Perfect. And now let's suppose we want to now, once we have used the metrics here, correct? That's the main advantage here. If we have used this metrics here, if we want to call one specific object, right? Then we can simply specify the location for it, correct? For example, we want to call 7, correct? Let's suppose we want to return the value as 7, which has been stored here. So how we can call 7? Okay, Richard, I asked, how do we deal with multiple rows and columns? Do we have to enter manually? The data needs to be entered manually, Richard. Or if we are trying to take input from the user, then we can also do that, depending upon the context in which we are developing. Is that clear, Richard? Or if you want, we can also call from other files as well. If you want to call from any particular database, again, we can do that. So it all depends upon how we plan to enter the information here through a database, through a command prompt, or through manually. Okay, so is that clear, Richard? Please give me a quick information. Perfect. Okay, Wasim, Wasim says, okay, how we can call 7, guys? As we discussed, 0 is the first row and 1 will be the second row, correct? and we are trying to call 7, correct? So first row and 0 block, correct? That will be 1 and 0, correct? And if we interpret this part here, run Edureka 1, what we are getting? 7. If we want to call 9, again we have to mention here 1 and 2, and this will return 9, as you can see here. All right, and that's why we use NumPy. That's why we use NumPy as a part of our development. All right. And we can compare now NumPy. Now if we compare using NumPy as compared to list, because we also have the list option available, then list is basically, now as we know, NumPy uses a less amount of memory. NumPy uses less amount. Now since it uses less memory, it is fast, and again the creating entire this space is much more convenient itself, right? And creating this entire thing is much more convenient, as we have seen using NumPy as compared to any list. All right, just a moment. And then we can sim now, as compared to list, is again it's much convenient as well, right? Then we have multiple operations that we can perform on NumPy. We can find the dimensions, we can find the byte size, we can find the data type as well, right? For example, let's say we want to find a data type for the element that we have declared, correct? Then we can use a simple operation for it. For example, let's say we want to find the data type for the element that we have stored in the array, correct? So what we can do, suppose if we want to find the data type, then in here we simply have to change the command here. Now in print, what we have to do is we have to specify x, that means now the variable that which is holding the array here, and then we have simple syntax for finding the data type as d type, right? So we have simple syntax called d type, right? And if we mention d type here, what we can do is, okay, let's not do this in capital, in uppercase, in lowercase itself. So once we mention this as d type, if we simply execute this, can you all see this? What we have, since we have stored integers here, again that's why it is simply return integer 32 as a data type stored in the array that we have mentioned here, correct? So here we can use simple commands to showcase the dimension as well. And suppose if you want to showcase the dimension, that means if this is 2D or 3D, right? So how many dimensions it has? Again, we can use a simple syntax called dimension, correct? And whenever we are mentioning dimension here, for example, same way, here we have something as n dim, right? Once we again we can mention here n dim. Again, let's execute this. What we can see here we have two columns, right? That's why it is showing two dimension array being stored here. All right. So are we all clear on this part, everyone? Please give me a quick information. Okay, Vikas, so how to grab the internship for student for data science? We are coming to that part, Vikas, in next couple of minutes. Thank you for confirmation, Pooja, everyone. Yes, Richard, we can store different data types as a part of metrics. We can do that. As an array, we can do that. All right, so next is we have now that's why we have seen here, it will simply find the size of the array as well. It can simply define the shape of the array as well to whatever we have saved. If we want, we can always reshape the element as well, exactly as per our requirement. We can scale it up, we can slice the elements to whatever we want to. So whatever we want to do, we can achieve that using the NumPy library that we have seen here. Correct? As per our example here, we can simply define the size of the element as well. Correct? For example, we wanted to showcase the size here, right? Again, we can go back and instead of endian, so we can simply use a syntax called size. If we run this, run Edureka, as you can see, what's the size of the array that we have used? We have 6 being returned here. As an example, what we can do see, we have the 6 being the array size returned. All right. So here we can showcase this to find the array size, to find the dimensions, depending upon how we want to use it. We can perform multiple operations. We can perform multiple operations. We can sort, we can slice, we can replace exactly as per our requirement. We can do that. Now, for example, let's suppose we want to change the shape here, correct? As an example here, let's suppose we want to change the shape here. And what we can do is, let's suppose currently we have a matrix of suppose 3 by 3, correct? We have a matrix of 3 by 3 here, correct? Let's say we want to convert this into, let's suppose we have 3 by 3, so we can convert this to, for example, suppose 3 by 2, or suppose we have 6 elements, correct? We have 6 elements. Now currently we have 2 by 3, correct? So we can, if we want, we can convert this to 3 by 2 as well. We can do that, right? And for converting this, what we can do is we can simply come back. Suppose here we can mention, suppose another syntax here, suppose x is equal to x and reshape, right? Suppose if you want to reshape the entire matrix here, we want this in now in 3 by 2, right? Because here we want 3 rows and 2 columns, correct? So here we can mention this as 3 by 2, and then we can simply use a command for printing this, for printing x here, correct? So what this will do is this will simply convert the entire matrix into 3 by 2. Can we all see this, everyone? Earlier we had 2 by 3. Now it has been converted into 3 by 2. So here, similarly, we can perform multiple operations exactly as per our requirement. We can do that. Is it clear, everyone? Please give me a quick confirmation. So there are multiple operations that we can perform on top of it, exactly as per our requirement. We can do that. Perfect. Thank you for the confirmation, everyone. Wonderful. Thank you so much for the confirmation, everyone. All right. So that's the main goal that we have tried to achieve here, guys. So basically, we have multiple operations. Same way we can find the minimum, we can find maximum, we can find the sum as well. Exactly to what we are looking for, we can find almost everything exactly as per our requirement, right? So if we want, we can find the maximum number, we can find the minimum value, we can find the numbers exactly as per our requirement. We can do that easily, correct? For example, let's say we want to perform the sum. For example, we want to perform the sum here, right? Again, we can perform the sum here exactly as per our requirement. We can calculate all the sum of the entire array here, correct? For example, let's say we want to perform a sum, then let's go back to our PyCharm. Here we can mention, here we can simply, now here what we can do is, let's suppose here we have two metrics here, correct? So here what we can do is we can no, we don't want to reshape it. Let's remove the reshape command here. We simply want to perform the sum, right? So just like we had uses for reshaping, for resizing, again we have a simple command called sum, and then we can define the value here to perform the addition, subtraction, product, or the sum of the different elements that is available as a part of entire array that we have stored here, correct? So now if we execute this, can we all see this? We have what? We have the sum of the numbers being mentioned in the matrix in the array that we had defined. So it is 3 plus 3 is 6, and it is 9, 6, 15, 8, 23, and then we have 7, 30. That's the total sum that we have got here. All right. So same way we have multiple operations that we can always that we can simply perform. So here if we want, again, if we want to have only for x-axis, we want to have some for only y-axis, then we can define this, correct? We can configure this exactly as per a requirement, right? If you want to perform the square root, if you want to perform the standard deviation, the standard deviation, right? Just like these are part of statistics that we had to perform here, correct? So there are multiple operations that we can go ahead with. We can also modify, we can also go ahead and carry out addition of two different blocks here. We can perform subtraction, we can perform division, multiplication as per our requirement. We can do exactly as per what we need. All right. And suppose, let's say we want now, just as a simple example here, suppose if we want to find a standard deviation, correct? Suppose, let's say we come back, we want to find a standard deviation here, correct? So again, we can remove some, and in here, what we can do is we can simply use the same. Now here we have mentioned, okay, we want to find the deviation here, correct? So here we can use the same NP command, correct? And then we can use this deviation here, because again we want to find deviation of what we are now in here. We have to mention we want to find deviation of x that has been defined, correct? So if we execute this, As you can see here, currently we have this value return as a standard deviation of the block that we have created, right? So that's how we can use Python to perform different operation, guys. We can use Python for scrapping of data, for performing analysis, for performing, for conducting, for carrying on different operations as a part of statistics. All right. So is it all clear, everyone? Please give me a quick information, guys. Is it all clear to what we have discussed so far, guys? Please give me a quick confirmation. Perfect. Thank you for confirmation. Now, same like Panda here. So Panda is, okay, just a moment. Now, pandas is again as is used as a different library to what we had discussed as NumPy. So Panda is basically used for data manipulation and performing any kind of analysis on top of it, right? So here we can use pandas for performing calculation over Tableau data, over ordered and unordered time series data. Here it can also be used as a perfect library to be used for observational or statistics data, right? And again, suppose we can use this for any kind of raw data as well, on which we want to perform some manipulation or analysis, right? And since we are today limited on time, guys, as a part of our entire course available from Edureka, we have the entire delivery available for each and every module that we have discussed, right? Okay, Mike, so I'm new here, so how Python is used for scripting? Mike, Python is the most popular language if we talk about data science, right? So Python can be used for web scraping, for web development, for when we are writing codes into any of the modules that we want to have in our website, into our dashboards, right? And it is again used basically for web scraping, for app and web development, and it is also used for, and that's why Python is also the main driving force behind YouTube, behind Dropbox, behind Netflix, as you must have heard, right? So these all use Python language for reading and writing data, right? And for quick access of data from their library, from their main servers, right? And that's exactly we use it for. Okay, Vikas, so please, intention, give some tips for students from your experience. Because if we have now, if we gain some expertise for Python, rest assured, we'll be having no trouble for the next 10 years in our career, right? Because career wise, Python, if we have gain our expertise on Python, there are multiple branches that opens for us, right? We can go for web development, we can use Python for scripting, for writing tests for applications as a part of DevOps as well, right? If we have a good command over Python, then we can use Python for data analysis, we can use Python for data mining, we can use Python along with Hadoop for becoming a data scientist, right? And these roles are high in demand. Trust me, no other sector is that high in demand as compared to big data, as compared to machine learning, correct? I hope you would agree with me on that part, right, Vikas? So that's why if we gain a good expertise on Python, then we can have a really good career ahead of us. All right, and that's why we have a full-fledged course offered here from Edureka itself. Let me share the link here for the Python course here. Just a moment. All right, so here we have the Python course here, guys. So now let me share this link with everyone. So in Python course, in this entire course here, first of all, we will be discussing on the entire setup for Python. That means all the value type, variables, loops, conditional statements that is available as a part of Python, right? And then and then now, as we know, this entire topic, this entire training is always 80% practical and just 20% theory. So here, whatever we'll be learning, we'll be applying this on a real world scenario as a part of multiple hands-on, correct? And then we'll be discussing on sequences and file operations. We'll discuss on functions, OOPS modules, errors and explanations. We'll discuss on how we can do data manipulation using Python, how we can carry out supervised learning, and how we can use it for dimensional reduction parts, how we can use for unsupervised learning as well. We'll be discussing on time series, on reinforcements, and for different rules for mining and recommendations, right? And at the end, we'll be discussing on model selection and boosting, right? So these are main different areas on which we'll be focusing on. Thank you so much for appreciating it, Edureka, Mike. Nitin, now, so again, even though we have 10 years of experience, we can now that will be a great advantage for us if we start learning Python, right? Because if we have spent 10 years of experience, then we have good amount of industry exposure, correct? So we can bring our business ideas, we can bring our expertise on business development roles, on business models, right? And if you also couple it with the knowledge of Python, again, that will be, and then will be a great asset for any company, especially for consolidation purposes. All right. Yes, Mike, we do need to know the Python library, especially when we are conducting some kind of analysis. If we are building dashboards where we'll be showcasing multiple data points based on the analysis or based on the filters users have applied, correct? So for that purpose, we do need to know about the libraries, and along with DevOps as well, because in DevOps we use Python for writing test scripts, right? So again, even in DevOps, again, this is a really useful tool to have. So is it clear, Mike? Perfect. That's great. Then if you have the Python combined with AWS, and that will be a great career path that you can have, right? So you can all can explore this particular screen here, guys, this particular course here from Edureka from us again, and this will be a really good path that you can start with. And we have multiple batches running in every month, so you can enroll as per a requirement. We have Monday to Friday, and we have weekend batches as well. So depending upon your comfort level, depending upon the time you are available in, we can join that course, right? And by the end of the now, when we end the webinar today, guys, you'll be getting a simple form to fill in. So please do rate us excellent in that feedback form. Along with, do make sure that you fill that form to get the discounts from the team itself, right? So please do not forget to fill the form that you will be getting at the end of the session once we end the webinar, so that once you fill that form, only then you'll be getting multiple discounts from the counselor itself, from Edureka, right? So for getting discounts on the courses, please do fill in that particular feedback form along with rating us excellent. All right. And I really hope you all had a great time, and you already had a great last almost an hour that we had spent here, right? And in case you have any question, guys, please feel free to reach out to the support team, and hope to see you all soon. Join the entire session to learn more on Python that we have started. All right. So you all have been great audience for last 90 minutes now, guys, and hope to see you all soon. Join the entire session as well. All right. And please do not forget to fill the form, because again, if we forget to fill the form along with excellent feedback, we won't be getting the discounts. All right. And hope to see you all soon, guys. Thank you so much for joining for today's session. Hope to see you all soon. Take care. Bye bye. And have a great day ahead. Thank you so much, guys. Take care. Bye bye.